Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you how you can implement webhook handlers for Stripe really easily in Visual Backend. So let's get started. First things first, let's add the Stripe module to our project. So I'm just going to paste in my API keys like so. So when we create the Stripe module, it comes with two starter functions, but I'm not going to use those in this video. Instead, I'm going to come over here and add the subscription webhook template. And what this does is that it'll firstly create this function right here, which helps us handle the Stripe events request. And next, we also have handlers for 4 basic subscription event types. So firstly, we have the invoice.paid for successful payments. Secondly, invoice.payment failed. Thirdly, subscription.updated. And lastly, subscription.deleted, which is when the subscription completely expires. And inside each of these handler functions, we help you destructure some fields from the event data object, as you can see here, just so you can kickstart your function faster. Now I'm going to demonstrate these functions in use, and to do so, I'm going to be updating this user object right here in Firestore. And as you can see, it has the Stripe customer ID field, which is attached to this customer here in Stripe. And we also have this subscription object, which is what we want to update throughout this video. So we're going to first work on the invoice.paid handler function. And so I'm just going to add a log so that we know whenever this function is being called. So I already have this update user subscription function written, which takes in a Stripe customer ID and updates it with the new subscription data in Firestore. So I'm going to use that inside my invoice.paid function. So let's write that here. And now the Stripe customer ID comes from this customer field. So we're going to pass that in. And since this is for a successful payment, we're going to pass a status of active and a tier of premium for the subscription object. Now let's move on to the next function, which is for the invoice.payment failed event. And this will fire whenever a customer's payment has failed due to, say, insufficient funds in their card. And so this particular function has an additional field as well, the attempt count. And where this comes from, let me just write that in first. All right, so where this comes from is over here in my settings, where I've set Stripe to retry 3 times when a payment fails, each one day after the last. And so after all 3 retries, the subscription will basically be deleted. But anyways, back in this function, let's update the user subscription. And we're going to set the status to be past due and let the tier remain as premium. So let's move on to our next function, which is the subscription.updated event. And in this demo, we're going to focus on when the subscription has been cancelled by the customer using this variable. And it can definitely be used for other cases as well. But anyways, let's just log when this case is happening. All right. And for the subscription, we're going to update it to have a status of cancelled and leave it as premium until the end of the subscription cycle. Now let's move on to the next function, which is subscription.deleted. And this occurs for 2 reasons. Firstly, when the payment fails and all the retry attempts have been made. And secondly, when the subscription has been cancelled and the cycle is done. So once again, we're going to log that. And we're going to update the subscription to revert back to the free tier. So let's just delete that and set the status to be none and the tier to be free. So now we've written the functions for all the cases and we can go on to test them. And so to make sure the Stripe event requests reach our local machine, we can either copy this public URL here and paste it in this and add it as an endpoint here, or we can forward the events to a local environment, which is what I'm going to do, as you can see. So let's just do that. And I'm going to change the endpoint to be webhooks/Stripe subhandler. All right. So now I'm going to go to my API builder and create that route. So let's create a group called webhooks. And inside, let's create a post request called Stripe subhandler. And inside this endpoint function, I'm simply going to call the sub webhooks handler function, which was in the Stripe module, and just pass in the request and response. All right. So now let's test our handler functions, and I'm just going to restart the server here. And the first case we're going to test is a successful payment. So to do that, I'm going to create a subscription for this customer. All right, and just set the product, remove the tags, set that, and add a payment method. And for this test card, I'm going to use the successful test card. So let's just copy this over. All right. And create the subscription. And so as you can see, we have the handling invoice paid event and the subscription has been updated successfully. So if we go over to Firestore, you can see that the fields have been updated correctly. And now for the second case, we're going to test the invoice.payment failed event. So what I'm going to do is firstly update this subscription here and change the payment method to a failed card, a card that would decline. So let's add a new one here, and we can copy this card which would decline. All right, so I'm going to copy that and save that. All right. And so to trigger another payment, what I'm going to do is use this Stripe test clock to advance the time to the next invoice date. So let's go over to there. And this might take a while, so I'm just going to skip ahead to when it's done. Alright, so you can see a failed payment here, and if I go over to my logs, the event was successfully fired, and the user subscription has been updated as well. As you can see, the status is now past due. And the next thing I'm going to look at is when the subscription is deleted after 3 failed payment retries. So let's just advance the clock by 3 days and skip to when it's done. Alright, so if we go to our logs, you can see that we have 3 more failed attempts, alright? And after that, the subscription has been deleted and the event has fired correctly, and the subscription object has been updated as well. So now we're going to test the case when the subscription is cancelled by the customer. So first, I'm just going to create a new subscription here, like so, and use a successful test card. Alright, and as you can see, if we go over to Firestore, the subscription is now premium. So let's open the customer portal and cancel the subscription. So just going to click that. And great, the subscription has been successfully updated, and as you can see, the cancel event has occurred and the Firestore object updated as well. So now let's just advance the time to when the cycle has ended. So let's move to December 3rd. All right, so let's just go 1 day in advance, so December 4th. And I'm gonna skip to when this is done as well. All right, so as you can see, when the cycle has ended, the subscription.deleted event is fired, and the Firestore object is successfully updated as well to the free tier. So anyways, that is the end of this video, and I hope you enjoyed this little demo of handling Stripe webhook events in Visual Backend. Thank you!